Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Shipma News. Here I am reading only newspaper article. This is our today article: Why India must get the caste census right. K. Ashok Vardhan Shetty wrote this article. Is a former IAS officer of the Tamil Nadu cadre and a former vice chancellor of the Indian Maritime University Chennai. The Narendra Modi government decision to include caste enumerations in the next census is one that is bold, transformative, and commendable. Counting caste is not capitulation to politics identity. It is a mirror to the lived realities of millions. It marks a vital step toward evidence-based policy making to build a more just and inclusive India. A nation that refuses to see itself cannot hope to heal itself. Post-independence, India attempted to abolish caste while simultaneously pursuing social justice, a textbook example of policy schizophrenia, as the two goals are fundamentally incompatible. The refusal to count caste in the census was a corollary of the policy of caste blindness, but the Constitution explicitly mandates the pursuit of social justice through reservation in education, public employment, and electoral constituency measures that require precious disaggregated caste data. Also, the Constitution uses the term class. The Supreme Court of India has repeatedly ruled that caste is a valid and then often necessary proxy for identifying backwardness and has insisted on detailed caste-wide data to uphold reservation policies. In his 1955 facets rule on linguistic state, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar denounced the omission of caste table from the 1951 census as an act of petty intelligence. Visibility in data is the first step toward meaningful inclusion. Caste data collection across all major social groups is essential not only for administering reservation but also for equity driving planning, targeted policy making, and tracking disparity over time. Not collecting it has rendered many of Indians marginalized communities invisible in obstatic wars. A narrow elite of upper castes and dominant other backward classes obviously have entrenched its grip over wealth, opportunity, and power behind the smoke screen of caste and anonymity. In hindsight, this rank among India's gravest policy failure, a legal and administrative necessity. Since 1951, the census has enumerated scheduled caste SC and scheduled tribe ST but excluded OBC. Even through all three groups has constitutionally eligible for reservation in education and public employment. The usual justification that OBC lack reserved seat in Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly that SC/ST have collapsed with the 73rd and 74th amendment, which mandated OBC reservation in addition to SC/ST reservation in electoral constituencies of panchayat and municipalities. Implementing this provision requires granular area-wise OBC data with the introduction of reservation in education and public employment for the economically weaker section EWES among upper caste. 2009, a comprehensive narrative of all castes has now become a legal imperative. India's reservation policy currently operates in an evidence vacuum, leaving it vulnerable to arbitrary demand from powerful caste groups and politically expedient decisions by government. With reliable caste data, the demands of the Maratha, Patidar, Jat, and others can be assessed transparently and on merit. The limited data we do have revealed deep inequality according to submission made by the government of India to the Justice G. Rohini Commission. Just tell 10 OBC castes cornered 25% of all public job and education seats reserved for OBC, while a quarter of OBC caste is secure 97% of the benefits. Shockingly, 38% of OBC caste receive only 3% of the benefit, and another 37 got nothing at all. Hence, caste enumeration is also an administrative imperative to prevent the elite capture, enable rational subcategorization within social group, and allow a more precise definition of the creamy layer. Collection of caste data must go beyond the essential census. All periodic government survey should enumerate OBC and upper caste alongside SC and ST. The era of partial counting must end. Learning from failure and success. In 2010, Parliament unanimously resolved to count caste in the 2011 census. The 1931 census had recorded 4,147 castes, excluding the then and called repressed classes. The Anthropological Survey of India has identified 6,325 castes, but the Socioeconomic and Caste Census (SECC) of 2011, conducted by the United Progressive Alliance to government, was atypical. It pursued a ludicrous figure of 46 lakh cars and was never released. What went wrong? First, the SECC 2011 was not conducted under the Census Act 1948 and lacked legal authority. Second, it was conducted through the Union Ministry of Rural Development and Urban Development with no expertise for handling a complex socio-anthropological survey. Third, its open-ended question about caste created confusion, undertrained in numerous conflicted castes, allies, subcastes, gotra, clan names, surnames, and broader caste groups. The result was a chaotic unstable data set. Was it sabotage or incompetence? Either way, a historic opportunity was squandered. In contrast, in Bihar, caste survey enumerators were given a vetted list of 2014 castes specific to the state with a 250th option for other castes. The survey was well planned, well executed, and showed that a credible caste count is entirely feasible. Blueprint for a successful caste center. To avoid repeating the SECC 2011 fiasco, here is what must be done. First, legal banking. Amend the Census Act 1948 to explicitly mandate caste enumeration and insulate the process from shifting political agenda. Second, the right institution entrusts the exercise solely to the office of the Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India and not ministry that lack domain expertise. Third, a standardized questionnaire use closed option question with drop down menus covered by subcaste caste including allies, broader caste group, and caste link. Surname optional. Having caste alone as an option can lead to terror since some caste names such as Rao, Naik, Singh, and Bandari span multiple community. Assign unique digital code to avoid duplication and semantic confusion. Example, grouping Iyer and Iyer under one code. For state specific caste list, develop draft list in consultations with state government, sociologists, and community leaders. Publish them online and invite public feedback before finalization. Use a similar participatory approach for questionnaire design. Fifth, enumerator training. Conduct regional specific training session with mock example, clear does and don'ts and guidance on local caste nonsense. 6. Digital tools. Equip enumerators with handheld devices that are preloaded with validated caste list. Restrict data entry to predefined options to minimize human error. 7. Representative staffing to ensure data integrity. Deploy interpreters from diverse communities and in area where they have no conflict of interest. 8. Independent oversight. Establish district level communities to audit sample and monitor data integrity. 9. Pilot testing run trial in diverse states such as Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, and Assam to refine methodology before nationwide rollout. In every census since 1951, the government has successfully enumerated nearly 2,000 castes and tribes under the SC/ST category, counting the remaining 4,000 odd OBC and upper caste. Most of them state specific is not only doable but also long overdue. The delay 2011 census offer a rare chance to finally close this data gap. The time for denial and delay is over. The time to get the caste census right is now. Counting castes is a mirror to the lived reality of millions, had a vital step toward evidence-based policy making. So guys, this is today's video. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel for the more update and more video. Press bell icon for notification. Thanks for watching. Meet you in tomorrow next video. Jai Hind.